technologically evolved so quickly. So
Yeah.
This is why we're pretty much.
that's why we're going to integrate it to the technology,
No,
because
yeah.
we can't wait for evolution anymore, because our technology and everything,
Is-
our innovation is moving faster than our
I don't know. I
biological
kind of have I kind of don't agree with the theory of evolution completely coming from apes, because if that's the case, why would
But
they
you
still
know
be-
that
I believe it was to
I
a
was
degree. An alien raped a fucking monkey. Something like that.
No, what the hell?
Artificially
all right, I'm
inseminated
gonna say what I was
ape or
gonna say.
something.
First of all, there's several different species that were very human-like, extremely human-like. Humans, Cro-Magnons, okay, Neanderthals, and then there's things called like Diovisians or something like that they had discovered.
I remember
like
seeing
East
this on
Asia or
YouTube.
something like
No
that.
Discovery
That's
Channel.
another human species, and all these things have interbred, and that's one of the reasons why I think that we can look so drastically different.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you
Because
look
we're
at a
all
Guatemalan
interbred
and you look
different
at it
species.
straight like a fucking like me, there's some drastic differences in us.
Yeah.
Well, they
Color,
try
facial
structurally,
structure,
yeah.
bodily.
they try saying that
You ever seen that rock with the European face and then a North American face on it?
No.
It was on Ancient Aliens. I saw it on.
All right. Here's my theory on it. With what thorns the people, because people have said that to me before. They're like, well, if apes evolved, why are there still apes on the planet? It's a very common argument for evolution.
that's how I
And
think of it.
Well,
I think the best argument.
Stony theory.
All right, I'll let you say that right after.
No, you go. You go.
The argument that I would have for that, and I'm not defending evolution, but I think the argument I'd have for defending evolution in a sense is that think about how even human beings, in a sense, are different.
Mhm.
See how different we are from Asians and from Indian people and from Africans, right? Such crazy differences.
Hell yeah.
Biological differences.
We look different to every creature.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's no doubt
But-
about it.
So this is the theory on how we evolved from
I've got
apes.
a theory for why we all look so different.
I mean, it would take a long ass time, obviously. I don't know.
Well, actually, this is like a proof.
Yeah. But say there's a group of apes, right? Big group. They multiply. There's a lot of them, and for whatever reason, the pack splits into two. And say they originated in Britain, right? One stays in Britain, one crosses over and goes to Russia. Then they both multiply. Obviously, that's how the planet got multiplied on. But say what happens is when one group moves to a different climate, a different environment,
Product of your environment.
especially like here's a best example.
Well, I just thought of such an excellent way to like show that the evolution of the human brain and stuff, and like how evolution seems to be like so manufactured. Like think about the nomadic instinct of people. I'm sorry, I just happened to without it. I'll forget it. I swear to God.
Yeah.
And like the nomadic instinct of people, and the hunt for food and stuff like that, and following your food is what led us to conquer the planet. We needed that to become a big civilization and a whole worldwide economy and stuff like that. We needed that nomadic sense, that like adventurous sense and everything like that. So it's like we were naturally meant to evolve to conquer the planet in that sense.
Well, we still have that adventurous sense anyway, because you always get surprised when somebody's like, yo, I went to Los Angeles. You're like, really? How was it out there?
Oh, yeah.
So we're still adventurous.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
I think
That's why we're trying to get in space.
Space is
Space is ultimate exploration.
Yeah.
Space is so
Space
vast.
is.
You're not going to explore it.
98% of our oceans aren't explored.
I think space.
Something like that. 90% of our oceans aren't
Oh,
explored.
yeah.
All right, I want to say two
That's
things.
fucking
I'm going to
retarded.
finish what I'm saying in two, but I want to say this real quick. Imagine if space wasn't even the last frontier. Imagine if there was something beyond that.
Oh, for sure. Other dimensions and stuff like that.
Mhm.
There's so much we don't know.
I
Quantum physics
believe
is still
space
fucking
just holds
huge.
other dimensions, but like
No,
they
what
can't
happens?
be dragged.
Well, it's not like that. It's like all dimensions exist in the same space, but it's like
They're on
I
top
told
of
you
each
about
other.
my salvia
You
trip,
can't
right?
you can't hear each other. You
I
can't
told you
see
about
each
it, right?
other.
Mm-hmm.
When I was on my salvia trip, I told you.
Yeah.
And I was looking at, all right, so I was at my boy's house, my boy Justin, and I was taking salvia. It was my first time, and I looked at him, and it was like I was seeing like different universes, like different parallel universes or different dimensions. Well, not dimensions, but like different parallel universes, because I saw like him, and there was like a book. It was like not really a book, but like papers, and I could see a few of them, like they were spread apart, and he was doing different things and saying different things in each page, and I could like flip it like a book. It was crazy. It was like, and he was like, it was real too. It was like he was really doing it. So it was like what I was seeing, like possibilities, and anything in the universe is pretty much possible.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
anything that could be is.
It could not even be a trip. It could just be you catching a glimpse of a different.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like,
Think of
so
all
powerful,
right.
so beautiful.
I
so
experienced the ape thing. one, to respond to that, even like there's a video about Dr. Quantum called Flatland, if you've watched that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've seen that.
cool.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that one just fully explains like they're on a different dimension and they just can't comprehend because they haven't witnessed it yet, and then that's why they're enlightened and then they can evolve to that point. But the thing with the apes is like best example, very simple. People, right? They migrated to Europe. Some people migrated to Africa. And over the thousands of years, when they live in their environment and they have to essentially adapt like any other animal would, that's why some birds have long beaks, some birds have big-ass beaks, some birds are fat and they can't even fly. Like ostriches can run because they didn't need to fly in their environment. And what happens, like African Americans, well, not even African Americans, Africans, they develop dark pigmentation to protect their skin from the sun because they had less shade and so it would get hot there. And we just didn't because we had no need for it. The same thing with apes. I think once they split, they kind of
absorb vitamins.
I think once let's say if there's a group of apes, they split to go to a different environment, they change. They split, go to a different environment, they change, and it changes and it changes and it changes. And then, what happens is there's always the apes that don't evolve. They stay in that environment where they don't have to evolve, and they're just perfect for their environment. And then, I mean, not saying we came from apes. That I've never really fully accepted that. Yeah, no, I haven't.
I saw it with Fox the other day.
Yeah, you told me you
fucking
said
awesome.
It really is a bit.
I got really attached to that character, Caesar.
Yeah, Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Well, I know what I hated. No!
I thought that was epic. I was like, dang.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
Hell yeah.
I knew it was gonna happen, and it was just like
I was like, everybody's fucked. That's what happened. I just started it.
Oh yeah.
I was like, every monkey is fucked.
I thought it was kind of corny. I loved the movie, but
I would love
thought
to
that
have
one
an
line was
intelligent
corny.
chip and teach him
No?
martial arts.
Yeah.
Fucking kill everything.
Just because I expected it so much.
I would just teach him a choke, and he wouldn't even have to have a choke. You just have to have it around your face.
He was
and
such a
crush your
genius
face.
too. Look, he understood sign language.
Yeah, he really was mad smart.
And then the orangutan that
That's why I was
actually,
so attached to him. Cause like, wow, that thing's the shit.
Mhm.
That thing's mad cool.
and then the orangutan too,
Hell yeah, that ring.
and how he captured
That thing's a beast. He was
Yeah.
so fucking huge.
that, and then the alpha male that got checked by the giant gorilla because Caesar was smart enough to convince the giant gorilla.
Mhm.
That was crazy too.
I was watching this thing on about like the economics and how people react and why people they actually start talking about beliefs and why people won't change from their beliefs and
They're
like
scared.
why people won't accept it and why people like won't change their stance even when there's like full evidence. And that's where faith comes from in belief, like the
Faith
definition.
is blind belief.
Yeah,
That's what is by definition.
it's assumption. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's assumption off of a belief.
It's not off of fact.
Yeah, you can't prove. They don't prove it in the scientific.
It's a leap
way.
of faith. That's why they call it a leap of faith.
Yeah, and
You just plunge into it. Whatever.
No, I like that. Faith is blind belief.
But I think what was pretty cool is they started talking about the professor with the economics. He was talking about how when like politics, for example, is what he was talking about. When somebody believes a specific thing about politics, and you go and you start telling them, like, say the guy's like, oh, like, well, I was talking about immigration, and they're like, oh, immigrants, they steal our jobs and they're ruining the economy, and you go show them evidence, you show them facts that they're really not, and you try to explain it, but they were so fixated on it. And he said, like, they've tried to come up with reasons why the human being would just, even with displayed facts, won't accept it, because there's that sense of there's like this ever-changing statistic of distrust and why they distrust you and for what reasons. And like a good reason of like distrust was they were saying like if you go to a mechanic, right, in your car, and the guy says you need, and you're going to be paying him to fix your car. He says you need $2,000 of repair. You can distrust him because you'll be like, well, you might just be saying that, you know, and I really don't. But then you go to another mechanic who you won't be paying. You're still going to pay the other guy. You go to him and ask. He says $2,000. And you have more of a reason to trust him, but you still could distrust him. And then they say, if you went to your son, the mechanic, and he says you need $2,000 in repairs, they say even when you have no reason to distrust the guy and you're presented with facts because these people are experts and they know what they're talking about, you won't accept it. Like, once it hits a point where you have a self of distrust on a belief, you have a reason to distrust this, you won't change. It's so interesting because it gets into psychology of people.
Hell yeah. That totally
really,
makes sense.
really crazy.
I had to move on to that by myself because, like,
Yeah.
just through, like, doing mushrooms and just, like, through thinking, like, like, dude, I was a fucking loser. Like, I would just sit there and do nothing, and I would just start to think. That's what I would do.
I was just a loser. I said that.
But it worked out for the better, so I'm good. Fuck. And it really showed me myself on like different levels and stuff, and it showed me like how I was when I really started to think about myself and think introspectively, and just think about how I could better myself and what's limiting me and what's holding me back and what I could let go of to just feel better and be a better person. And it's totally.
I'm telling you, that's
helped
what
me in
makes
that
me
way.
want to be a civil engineer so much.
I just want to
I
really do want to do something with people. I want to benefit people, but I want to do it on a large scale.
That's
I
why.
feel like
That's
I could.
exactly why I'm going to be a
I
civil
feel like
engineer.
I could. Like on a mental level, I feel like I could connect with a lot of people. Because I do. I don't have enemies. I have Kyle because fuck Kyle. He got fucked up regardless, so it doesn't matter. But
Well, I think like
I wouldn't really consider Kyle an enemy, but he did like try to hack me and shit. So I think he hates me. So I don't feel the same way, but it's like I understand.
even though
I see you.
even though to quickly explain
Yeah, I'm
it,
watching you. Go on.
even though to quickly say it, I can just say, well, he's just like we've been talking about evolution. He just hasn't evolved past the form of aggression.
Well, he might have.
The
I don't even know him
egotistical
anymore.
aggression that
I'm willing to bet he's still the same. His
Yeah.
brother was always fucking hard-headed as shit too. I don't know how he is anymore, but
Well, but the thing is too, even
I'm lucky I'm not
I just
like
had
my
an
brother.
epiphany. Even though I'm like, maybe they haven't evolved past the point stuff, I'm just realizing too that I haven't even evolved past it. I'm still stuck on the egotistical level where I can say that
everybody
they're
is.
not evolved to the point where I'm at. It's so arrogant for me to even say something like that.
It is, but you're evolved in a better direction, and that's provable. That's provable just by natural human moral.
Yeah, but then even when I say
Educated
something like
moral.
that, I think it's almost impossible
That's
to say
because
anything
it
positive
is.
about yourself without
I
being
really
arrogant.
think that you could interpret that as ego, but I could really interpret that more
Yeah,
as
but
fact.
because
you
it's
are a
fact,
better
that
But
person
that's
than
because
you.
you're a different person.
That
Because
doesn't mean you
that's-
saying that is, what I'm saying,
But that's
a
because
bad
you
thing.
guys
That's just
are
a
others.
fact.
That's because you guys are others, and you can observe me, and you can prove that in like a scientific manner. Like, well, you are. But I can't say that about
You
myself
do
because
better
you can't
things than
self-judge
he
yourself. In like, you can't self-judge
I think it's
yourself.
good
I feel
because you
you
have
can
to
to a
judge yourself.
degree,
So you
yeah.
can check yourself.
Yeah, if you didn't judge
Well,
yourself, who would
I
you
don't
be?
think you can like self-judge / self
In a positive
Yeah,
way. I
or
think you should
honestly,
give credit where credit's due at
self-compliment.
the same
I
time.
Or honestly, because you'll
You have to pat yourself on the back to keep you going. You can't just give yourself attention when you do something wrong.
I mean, when you
When I do
compliment-
something right, I'm like, I did something good just now. I need to encourage myself to do this more.
Well, no, I know what you mean. Like, if I go out and I help an old lady across the street, like, well, I did something good. But
Hell
if,
yeah.
if for
That
me to
feels
say,
so good
for me to be like, oh, I'm evolved past what this kid is, that's me self. And I gotta finish saying this thought before I forget it. I'm complimenting myself, but I'm self-judging myself.
I think that you're observing that as egotistical because
I'm
that's
very
usual.
pessimistic. I judge
That's
myself all the
usual
time.
egotistical behavior.
because
Most people that are egotistical say things like that, but I don't think you were egotistical when you said it.
Yeah, I
think
know.
that's what it came down
That's
to.
not my implication, but I think on a subconscious level, when I do judge myself, you, as any human being does,
Mhm.
you judge
see
yourself in more of
like,
a positive
I'm good.
manner.
Hell yeah. Unless you're depressed, of course.
Mhm.
In more of a positive manner than maybe you should. That's why I think like
That's
it's
where
like-
ego comes in. That's where
Yeah.
putting yourself on a pedestal. Like, I'm impressing myself. Like, I mean, everyone has moments like that. Where
And
it's like, wow, I figured something out that was really sick or something like that. It's like, fuck yeah,
That's
hell yeah.
that's that
But-
8 brain fleas.
That's why like
That's what you need though.
That's
You
why-
need that motivation to keep going.
Indeed.
so when you
Didn't
reach
have
when
that
you find those
when
people that haven't
shit.
like evolved past that point where like say they're really good at math their whole life.
If you
And
didn't
you
want to
come
be
to that-
better
I'm
than
so jealous of
think
them,
about it.
man.
If
I
you
wish
didn't,
I
if
could do
people
that.
weren't competitive
I
or
would be a
always wanting to
physicist
be
in
better
a
than
fucking
somebody else,
second
we
if I
wouldn't
could
be
do
anything.
that.
As a species, we wouldn't be anything.
I love
we didn't
math.
always want to be better than somebody else. That's what makes us great, a great civilization. We always want to be better than someone. That's what makes us.
That's what competition thrives.
Yeah,
competition
that's what makes
is
us-
like the ultimate point of competition.
Mhm.
That's what nature is.
Realistically, yeah.
competition.
We wouldn't have life if we didn't have competition.
It's like we were.
And it's kind of like
It's like we were selected by the universe. Okay, you guys are going in the arena.
Yep.
It's your
Real,
turn.
just
It's
hold
your
planning.
turn.
Go ahead, have a blast.
It's your turn.
Well,
You're
if
our
you kinda-
experiment. We're gonna take care of you. Don't
if
worry.
you think
we love
about
you.
it, sports are like an artificial way of competition, so we don't have to conquer other tribes and shit. We beat
That's
another
true.
team,
That's true.
Mm.
so that could
That
be
is like a monkey instinct to conquer, to win.
to win a
Definitely.
game,
That's why
and you're
competition
using-
exists. 'Cause
and you're
you want to
using your-
conquer, you want to win,
and you're using your actual
and
attributes.
you want to gain.
Yeah.
That's where tribal conflict.
No,
is.
So
Hell
it's,
yeah.
it's kind of tribal, and you have
you
your
gain
family.
positions, you gain a number of
Mhm.
ranks.
Because
Hell
since
yeah.
we've been talking about
That's
evolution,
probably why subconsciously people make those correlations, like through structure and rank and stuff like that.
I think since we've been talking about evolution, I'm gonna completely tie it into what you guys just said. I think if we will literally we'll be at a great point if we evolve to the point where we don't even have sports, and what we do to physically better ourselves is to better ourselves. And I think we'll be so evolved to the point where we won't even compare. And so when we get to the point where you don't even compare yourself to somebody when you see them, I feel like that's the point that you
Yeah, but then you
really
just won't
evolve.
be human anymore.
That really seems
I
like
mean, you'll be human,
because
but you'll
that would
be
seem
on
like you lose
you'll
a
be on
sense of being
different-
self-aware.
you'll be on a different
That
level.
almost that really
No,
that it
not-
does it really
well, not
does
like
in a
that.
way. Like
You
you
just
don't
don't-
even think like I'm me, he's him.
Well,
blah,
not
blah,
even
blah.
not even
Yeah, that
well,
where you're not any different than.
well, the
than
thing
that.
is-
Yeah, then you're not even
well,
like self-aware.
think about it.
Then
Think
it's like
about-
I am
Even
one
if you
object.
are different from that guy, if you don't think you're
Yeah.
any different, you're really
I mean, you
just
could
not
think
any different.
philosophically that we're
You
all, that we're
wouldn't
all the
wanna-
same thing and everything like that, but I mean,
Yeah.
I'm
Think-
different than you.
think
period.
about think about it this way.
We are the same, like we're brothers.
Think about think about
At the same time, we're totally different people.
just
know?
just think about what I said this way
We're
though.
brothers through
You
just
don't
being matter.
like when I look at you, if I don't even compare myself to you, I don't think like, am I better than him in this way, this way, this way, this way, and I compare
Oh, I'm
you
bigger
against
than
you.
him. I'm smaller than him. I'm
Anything.
taller than
Am I
him.
faster than him? Am I stronger than him?
Could I kick his ass?
Well, that's just like what normal people do because we're still in that primate age. I think
Definitely.
that when we get to
That's you evaluating
I don't-
potential.
I don't think-
potential risk, potential benefits.
That quick,
That's
it's
exactly
staring
like
at
that.
someone you already
It's-
Oh
evaluated.
yeah, exactly.
it's
It's like a
animalistic.
machine.
That's why I said if we evolve, we'll be, if you get past that, that's evolving past animalistic instinct.
But
won't
we're
be-
animals. in a
That's
sense, we're
on
still
another
animals.
cognitive level.
Yeah.
It's on
Yeah.
another mental level.
Yeah.
That's what we're evolving towards.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We're in that like between area right now.
Yeah. And but what I'm saying is when you guys are like, well, I think you lose self-awareness, and I think that you really wouldn't, because if you got to that point, you'd be like, well, I'm me, and I want to improve myself for the better of me and for the better of as a whole. And I think if we even got to that point, I think our thinking would go to a mode where
But
we
that's
wouldn't
kind
be
of how
trying to
we
better
are
ourselves.
now, anyways.
I think
We all just want to better ourselves.
No,
That's why we
no,
have greedy, rich ass people.
no, that's we're like that now. What I'm saying is
That's
when we,
such
when
an
we
unevolved.
I know.
Yeah, I know it's in an unevolved level. I'm just
When we
saying, but
get to
that's
the
pretty much how
point
we are
where we don't even compare, right, and you don't try to better yourself to be better than others, it's like you're bettering yourself for your own health, you're bettering yourself for your own evolution, and you better yourself for the good of your race as a whole. That's what you're going to be thinking of. You're not going to lose self-awareness, but you are going to think of yourself more